welcome to tonight's Internet Citadel show. We are so excited about the guest that we have tonight. But first of all, before we get started, for those of you who have not been on with us before, welcome. For those of you who have, welcome back. But I would like to introduce you to one of my best friends, my co-partner, my co-business partner and friend, Brian Kelly. Brian has over 23 years of software experience. He co-owned a travel-based MLM business for 6.5 years. He has a multitude of web experience and social media experience. We have worked together for going on 3 years, but working on a project that we're excited to share with everybody very soon. Brian puts together our technology that comes to you each week. I would like to go ahead and introduce you all to my co-business partner, Brian Kelly.
Well, thanks so much, Kathy. As always, a glowing introduction. It's always hard to outdo you, but you know we're so competitive. So here we go. Kathy is also a very, very dear friend of mine, and as she said, we've been in business together for now about 3 years. She is the co-creator and co-host, as you can tell, of this show. This show could not operate without her. She is the glue that holds this show together, and I appreciate you, Kathy. Kathy is a multitude of background herself. She's an operations manager and sales manager, or has had operations manager and sales manager experience of 25 years, actually a little over 25 years, with a Fortune 500 company. She's got vast affiliate marketing expertise dating back to the early 90s, and I always say I affectionately call her the affiliate marketing queen, because this woman knows how to market online like no other I've ever seen before. No one that I personally know. She is the absolute top when it comes to affiliate marketing. She's also got just a plethora of multi-level marketing experience dating back to the mid-80s. In fact, that's how we met, was through a network marketing company, which we are neither of us involved in anymore, but their loss, our gain. Love it. She's also, this is powerful. She's also a power seller on eBay and also a top-rated seller on eBay. She has the certificates on her wall back there somewhere to prove it. So this woman is very accomplished online. I can't say enough good things. She's also incredible at social media, by the way. Very well versed in that. And on that note, we've got someone you're going to love for tonight's show. So with that, Kathy, go ahead and take her away.
I'm going to have to tell you, for some reason, I'm experiencing some like crazy feedback here. So if I'm stalling in between, that's why. I'm not sure what's going on, but on my end, anyway. But at any rate, I would like to tell you about our dear friend. And before I read her bio, and I've got to read it here because I don't want to miss a thing, we actually met this absolutely incredible lady through another friend of ours, J.W. Nigerian, a few months ago. And we are so grateful and thankful because we just love her dearly. But what I want to tell you is Mary Agnes Antonopoulos is a social media strategist with over 25 years freelance writing experience. Just like me, MA, we're both babes, right? You know, it's like 25 years. It's like, whoa. She teaches a series of classes that covers all aspects of social media for marketing purposes. She also designs and manages media campaigns, helping clients to stay at the front of their industry by publishing compelling online articles and maintaining a dynamic, powerful presence on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media outlets such as YouTube and Blog Talk Radio. And I can tell you, just the way she verbalizes and writes, the other day she was talking about peaches, and I felt like I wanted to go under a tree and eat one. She is just amazing in her writing. She's designed over 40 successful social media campaigns for a variety of clients, and those include Christine Camaford, Jack Canfield, OnePinky.com, ServingSuccess.com, Africa is One, PaternityCom, Smart Soul, and many, many others. She's also well known for her writing and developing sophisticated PowerPoint marketing presentations, and I've seen some of those too. She's an amazing woman. She maintains expert author status with eZine and is a staff writer at Go-To-Girls, HP Web Solutions, and several other companies. She's been published in numerous print periodicals, the the NY Quarterly Literary Magazine. She has ghostwritten 2 full-length manuscripts, is currently editor-at-large for We Online Magazine for Women. I've got to tell you, Mary Agnes believes that the unmistakable benefit of working with a great writer is your true message, is that your true message is not lost in your delivery. It's lost in my speech, as you can tell. That a great writer learns not only your business and market, but also your voice. As an expert writer, she translates your passions to the written word. And again, I can say that because the other day when she wrote about those juicy peaches, I just envisioned myself being under that tree with you. I would like to introduce our very special guest, Mary Agnes Antonopoulos. Hi, Mary Agnes.
Mary Agnes.
Hi, guys. How are you both tonight?
Off the charts. And like I like to call Mary Agnes, you are the bomb, and I mean that in the absolute best way. Kathy and I had the absolute pleasure of meeting Mary Agnes in person for an entire weekend, and we had met prior to that only online through this very show several weeks or a couple months ago. And I really didn't know Mary Agnes. I probably still don't really know her, but I got to know her a lot better. And I've got to tell everyone that's listening in, look at the very cute face, the very she's just a cutie pie. But this woman, when it's time, she will get down to business. She does that. It was amazing watching her in action. There were things flying all over the place, and she held it together. She was taking care of Kathy and I, and she had all this other stuff to take care of during this event. So want everyone to know that this is one well put together woman in every sense of the word. So let's get this thing rock and roll because she has a wealth of information. Kathy, let's get it going.
Okay, Mary Agnes, I know that you've worked in social media, for quite a long time. Gosh, I'm getting horrible feedback. I'm sorry. And for a lot of us, that can become very overwhelming. Could you talk about that for a minute with us?
Yeah, I sometimes talk about social media as that bus tour through Europe. Did anybody ever take those when they were still popular? You went to visit like 16 countries in 13 days, and you have to know like 16 languages, 16 subway systems, how to get around, the rules. And social media feels like that. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and knowing which one to use for your business and your professional expertise, they vary from person to person. So it can feel overwhelmingly tricky. That's the truth.
Interesting.
But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, and I can concur with that. I mean, it is like running all over the place all the time, and it's difficult to keep track of whether you're coming or going.
Yep.
Especially if you do more than one social media avenue, like if you have Facebook, Twitter, even if you have just one, it can just be overwhelming. But what we wanted to talk about tonight are a few things that most people in the mainstream don't tend to talk that much about, which you are very, very well versed in, Mary Agnes. Let's start by talking about Blog Talk Radio. We hear so much about maximizing blogs for SEO, search engine optimization. For those who don't know what that means, and all that's great, but I don't see so much out there about Blog Talk Radio. It seems like that would be a great outlet for blogs, also, wouldn't it?
It is. You can actually start your Blog Talk Radio presence just by reading your blogs into Blog Talk Radio. It's super easy to use. It's super user-friendly. And you can literally telephone in your blogs. And just if you have a library of already written blogs, it's a great way to maximize your content.
That does sound easy.
They also become podcastable after that. You can dump them to MP3s. So it's super easy, and it's an amazing opportunity to use the content you've already written. And sometimes people have blogs that go back 3 or 4 years, and then they just sit there stagnant.
Goodness.
Well, since we're talking about Blog Talk Radio, Mary Agnes, does it have provisions to kind of keep the continuity going, like with the way your blog looks and maybe your Facebook page? Can that be done with that?
It doesn't have a customizable look, unfortunately. But you can customize all of the verbiage, use all of your keywords choose what niches you go into, which is really important, and then you can upload a video there, which is very, very cool. So while you're stuck in the parameters of what it looks like, you know, for SEO purposes, is very, very vibrant and very malleable. You can really make it work for you.
Well, that's a good thing to know. You know, so today we were going to talk about three of the social networks in particular. So that they don't get covered to death by experts. So how about if we talk? I know we were talking about Blog Talk Radio, but how about if we touch on YouTube and why YouTube? I mean, I think many of us like a dumping ground. You know, we think it's a dumping ground, and people put funny videos and pranks and stuff like that, but it can be used for business and monetized as such, correct?
Oh, we just lost her audio. She touched her screen and her audio went bye-bye. Do you hear her, Kathy?
No, I don't.
There
Can you hear me now?
You're back.
Oh,
right, she's back. Welcome back.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I guess I was going to say something worthless and confusing. Okay, so YouTube is amazing. YouTube is amazing and way underutilized for business purposes. And one of my favorite things to do on YouTube, after you have a rockin' profile, very important, is to go in and load what I call the tip of the day. So what that means is to create a 2-minute video, maybe 4 or 5 times a week, and call it the tip of the day. And so here's my formula. So if you're out there taking notes, grab a pen and paper really fast. I like to do the 20-second intro, so that's like this. Hey, this is Mary Agnes from Rockaway Writer, www.rockawayWriter.com. So you've got name, company, and website, 1, 2, 3. And then, if you can, give them the 1-minute tip of the day. So in my case, sometimes I'll talk about how to maximize your blog on off-blog websites like Blog Talk Radio, and how to promote it in bizarre places like iVillage or Fast Company, depending on what niche you fall into. So that might be a tip of the day. Then at the end, I'll wrap up with the same information. I'll wrap up with your name, company, website, and your phone number. I want everybody to be able to find me if they want to feature me on a show, or if they want to ask me questions or hire me especially. So I actually put my phone number right out there. So that's one way to maximize YouTube. Another way is to have a 2 or 3 minute video out there for every event or product that you sell. And then it's super easy to copy your HTML code from YouTube and put it onto your blog. So you can feature your videos on your blog with like a click of a button almost, and push them out to Facebook. So there's a lot of ways to promote yourself on YouTube that aren't as obvious or well utilized.
Well, so let's assume that someone's never used YouTube. They don't even have an account. What do they do to create an account?
Well, YouTube's got this weird thing that they're doing right now. You have to have a Gmail account to use YouTube, and that's because the people who own Gmail also own YouTube, so they're really kind of locking you in. So if you're a social media person like Kathy and I, you really have to have a Gmail account set up for every client to link it into their YouTube account. It can get mightily confusing. So for all the social media people out there that follow my work, this is an important thing to know, an important change. Once you've got that Gmail account and you set up your YouTube profile, it's really just about loading the videos, and any camera you use will almost automatically prompts you through the process once you turn it to YouTube and tell it to upload a video. It's pretty easy.
Well, so, you know, what would somebody do to create a good video to advertise their product or whatever it is that they're doing?
Yeah, I think the thing that most people have to remember is to keep it short. They want to keep it short, they want to feature their keywords, and they want to make sure that the YouTube video is set up properly. Anything in YouTube that you want to be searchable must contain those words in the title. YouTube is only searchable by title. So if I do everything right, but I leave Mary Agnes Antonopoulos off the title, you'll never ever find my work unless you're hooked into my channel. So I want to get people following my channel as much as possible, and I want to promote out through Twitter, Facebook, my blog, all the normal channels. But I also want to make sure that you can find me if you go to YouTube and you search. So definitely keep that title. You want it to run till they tell you you've run out of space. You want to put every keyword, your name, your title, your website. I want to put as much as I can in those titles.
Excellent advice. I was not even aware of that. I thought that part of the description field would also be searchable or spidered out to the search engine. So that's excellent advice. Thank you so much for that. YouTube, it's out there, it's video. What kind of pitfalls are there, if any, with utilizing YouTube for your business?
Well,
good question.
Obviously, be careful. You know, if you're using it professionally and socially, you want to be careful what you're doing socially. I think that's the biggest pitfall. You know, even if somebody's got us at a picnic in our backyard chasing the kids around in the soccer game, you want to remember that the CEO of your next business relationship could be looking at that. So, you know, I mean, it's the obvious warning, but it's obviously prevalent for a reason. You know, we can all make those mistakes. I'm a writer, and when I got to be pretty well known in my field, I had to start taking work off the internet at the speed of light, just because it's, you know, great work, but it didn't necessarily represent me well professionally.
Excellent, because you could be at a picnic and someone could let loose of a word that you didn't want to be let loose of, and that reflects upon you and whoever it is, your family or friends, like, wow, who's this Mary Agnes hanging out with? Of course,
listen,
that wouldn't
even
be you.
the simple stuff you get
or a wardrobe malfunction.
Yes.
You know?
What? That's right. I was going to say even the simple thing like a burp, and then you're that girl who burps on video for the rest of your professional career. You know, so you want to be careful.
Yeah, so in other words, make it as controlled an environment as possible, unless you wish to do some add some shock value to it if that's your business. But yeah.
Well, Gary Vaynerchuk built an entire career on shock value, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know, our friend Margaret just said prospective employers look for video of applicants too, so be careful. So
it's true.
Yeah,
very good.
She's right.
Very good point.
Hi,
and that's Margaret Jacoby, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Margaret Jacoby is an HR expert and consultant, so she really knows what she's talking about. So definitely worth taking her word on this.
Fantastic. I mean, we get it from our guest speaker and from our participants who are coming on, and I think this is going to be another guest speaker coming down the road. But
you're welcome, Margaret.
Incredible stuff.
Margaret's saying, thanks for the plugs. We're going to be having Margaret on our show sometime in the future. I can't remember the exact date, but she's going to be joining us as well. In fact, we've got a lot of friends on tonight. We have Dorothy on, and Glenn, and Margaret, and Janet, and Linda Jones is on, and Libby is on with us. I can't see everybody here.
It's a who's who.
I'm like going like this. We have a lot of our friends on here. A lot of people supporting Mary Agnes. She's just one popular lady.
Like I said, she is
so
the bomb.
So we're glad to have everybody on. She is the bomb.
Well, hey, we've got a lot to cover.
Well, you know what?
Go right ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we've got a lot to cover as far as different social media outlets, and wanted to, real quick, for people trying to get a little more information about Mary Agnes, be sure to click on her nose right up here to our corner, right there on her nose, and you'll get some invaluable information about Mary Agnes. If you do it right now, it'll take you to another webpage on a different tab or page on your browser. Wouldn't recommend doing that just this moment. This show will be recorded and available afterward as well. Also, there's a banner beneath us. Additional information about the Rockaway writer. Definitely want to click on those and get more information. And if it fits your needs, acquire her services, because she's the bomb. I mean, that's all I can say. You've got to get her services. She's incredible at what she does. I've seen her in action. Kathy's seen her in action. Integrity-based to the hilt. This is someone you want to be associated with, and I'm not kidding. So let's get back to, if we could, now we've talked about YouTube, and apologies for those that want to hear more about it, but we just have so limited time. We have so much information to extract from Mary Agnes. I would like to go on to the lesser known of, in my opinion, and possibly yours, Blog Talk Radio. If we can get back to that real quick, and you know, we've heard so much about it. What is it actually a great outlet for blogs? I mean, you already discussed that. You said that you could read your blog, which is that's like too simple. What are the first steps, just like with YouTube? How do you get started with Blog Talk Radio? What are the first steps for those who are interested in just reading their blog on Blog Talk Radio?
You know, the coolest thing to do, of course, is just to go in and set up a profile. Blog Talk Radio, like many social media outlets, is free. So I like it a lot. It's easy to use. You go in, you click set up a free profile. If you've got existing audio already, like let's say you've done some webinars or teleseminars, you can actually pay to belong. You pay a $39 fee, and let me think about this for a second. It's a $39 fee. It gives you a lot more exposure and room for people to call into your shows when you do them, but you can also upload existing audio, and then you can run it like a show. So that's a really cool thing about it that I like. The next thing is once you've set up your profile, go back in and make sure that you've hit all of the opportunities there. Edit your profile, and you'll see 5 different arenas to go through. And one of those is going to be, I forget what it's called, but really what it means is market niche. And you want to make sure that you've clicked those 5, chosen all 5. Because, like, for somebody like Libby Gill, you know, she's got a lot of different things that she's amazing at. So she wants to be in branding. She wants to be in CEO coaching. She wants to be out there as an amazing, famous speaker. So I want to make sure if I set that up for Libby or she does it for herself, that 5 of those choices are made. You don't want to miss the opportunity to choose another niche that could brand you. So don't just choose one just because you think you're one thing. Like I'm a writer, I don't want to limit myself to just writer or even just social media and writer. I want to click everything that I possibly want to get into, and I get 5 choices, so definitely do that. If you've got an existing video, you can load the HTML code on there as well, and then when people go to your profile, they've got this little dynamic video saying, hey, this is Mary Agnes, blah, 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 blah. So, but keep that to Mary's 2-minute rule. You know, you don't want to bore people to death. They're not going to watch more than 2-3 minutes maximum.
Excellent advice.
Well, that was a good tip for sure. So let's talk about the guests a little bit. There are more benefits to this than just the obvious, aren't there?
Yeah. Yeah, the cool thing about guests is that they'll promote it to their list as well. Like Brian and Kathy had me as their guest today, and I sent it out to my entire list, and I invited all my people from Facebook. A few of them will show up to support me, but an awful lot of people have come to learn what I might have to share, and then they'll get hooked on Brian and Kathy's show. So if this were my Blog Talk Radio show and I were hosting Brian and Kathy, their people might come to hear them, but they might just stay because I'm an amazing host. Same thing with Brian and Kathy right now. So that's a cool thing because you can cross-promote on your lists. And and these can potentially become good joint ventures as well. So if your guest has a product to sell, if you're an affiliate of theirs, you can actually make a percentage on their product. So that's a cool thing as well, right? It also gives you the opportunity to not have to script yourself, to do an entire half-an-hour show yourself speaking constantly. So that's a cool thing too, to kind of surrender over the verbiage to somebody else and not have to be on the spot, on the go for 30 minutes every single week.
Yeah, that could be a great way to break into later live broadcasts, be it through Blog Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that takes all the pressure off, the nerves. I mean, you're still going to be a little nervous if you're not used to speaking in public or even sitting in a room by yourself with a recorder on. There's still that level of nerves, but that's a great way to get started because you can do take after take after take, and nobody's there to see you fumble like we do every week on our show.
Well, and that's okay because, you know, we're live.
Absolutely.
I hate to correct you. Blog Talk Radio is generally done live. So unless you're going to audio edit and upload, you're probably going to be live. So don't worry if you're nervous. Just go for it anyway. I mean, you know, this is not a hostile audience. You promoted it to your own list, and your guest has promoted it to theirs. And, you know, this isn't a comedy show where they're going to throw rocks if you suck. They're going to be there to
well, you know what? If they throw rocks,
right?
we can't feel them.
That's right. That's right.
We can't feel them. That's okay.
And the beauty
so,
is...
you know, we're all involved in...
Go right ahead.
I was just saying, we're all involved in social media. So promoting your Blog Talk Radio program should be a fairly easy feat.
It's pretty easy, and it's a pretty wonderful thing to do. If I were promoting a Blog Talk Radio show and I had time, I would promote it through Facebook with an event invitation, just because there's a lot of people on Facebook. I mean, that's a real opportunity. You know, if you've got 5,000 friends and your friend has 5,000 friends and they tell 2 friends, well, that's not so bad, right? So that's one way to promote it. I might set it up on YouTube as a 2-minute video talking about the Blog Talk Radio show I was going to do. I would also ask my guests to do that as well. Then with a click of a button, I can put that out on my Facebook events. You can also write a blog about doing your show. So there's so many ways to promote it. The last way, definitely worth remembering, is just shoot an email out to all your friends, fans, and colleagues and let them know that you're going to do that, because that's kind of a warm, lovely way to invite people over.
Shall we cover any specifics of, say, actually running a show? I mean, maybe a scenario, show them.
Blog Talk Radio has some of the best user-friendly training videos that I've ever seen. They've got this really, really great set of how-to videos. And that's the one place where the tutorials are actually worth doing, Brian. They're not, some places I just say, oh, forget it, you'll find your way. But Blog Talk Radio has some great tutorial videos, so it's well worth doing. Another thing is that there's, I have a little Blog Talk Radio cheat sheet that I use, and I'd be happy to send it to anybody that wrote to you guys and asked for it, or wrote to me at MA@Rockaway Writer, MA for Mary Agnes. So, if anybody needs that, I'm happy to send that out to support them.
Very gracious of you.
Well, I think that for me, and I don't know, maybe there's people out there that actually like reading instructions.
Yeah.
But anytime somebody offers a cheat sheet with information and it's a shortcut, I'm first in line. So I think that's wonderful.
Right behind you.
Because I don't like reading instructions. Not my favorite thing.
And that cheat sheet covers a lot of things. It covers most of what we've talked about, and promotion, and using the system on the back end. So it's well worth having.
So you've talked a lot about Blog Talk Radio and kind of some of the high points with it. Are there any, before we move to the next thing, are there any final thoughts that you want to share with us about Blog Talk Radio?
Well, I would definitely say script yourself. Although it's a pain in the rear, I would script every word the first few times I did it, and then I'd read the script 4 or 5 times, and then I would create a bullet point sheet. You don't have to read your script, but you might want to have just the bullet points there so you know what points you wanted to hit. I'd hate to miss something that I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm going to take a quick look at my own cheat sheet, and let's make sure that I didn't. So that's kind of it. Sponsorship. You can do a cool thing. You can ask the person that you're featuring to sponsor your show. I know a lot of people are really scrambling for revenue right now. So, like, if Brian and Kathy wanted to, they could have asked me to sponsor the show that we're on, and I could have sent them a couple of $100 or to a charity that they liked. And if you do that every week, that's a pretty decent car payment at the end of the month. So that's one last thing to keep in mind about Blog Talk Radio.
My goodness, that's nugget after nugget after nugget. Excellent, excellent. All right, so we've talked about YouTube, we've talked about Blog Talk Radio, and if time permits, when we finish wrapping up, going through our third of the 3, perhaps we can revisit some questions or get some questions from our viewers and field those as well. But the last of the 3 networks we're planning on featuring tonight are meetup groups. Now, I've actually heard of these, but I don't know a whole lot about them, and this is going to be perfect, right down our alley. That we're going to be educated as we do our own show. That's what I love about this show. Kathy and I have learned unbelievable amount of information from these shows. In fact, everyone, you can go watch them at your leisure. They are still available to the public for absolutely nothing right now. Just click on the past shows link later after the show. But let's talk about meetup groups. Is it even really a social network in like the traditional sense of the phrase?
It is. Surprisingly, it is. You invite friends, you promote your group, you have dialogue through the network itself. So in almost every sense, it's the same as a social media network. You can actually load up files. So like I have a writers group, and we load our files every single week, so that all of us, all 10 of us or so, can see one another's work and make commentary before we meet live. But that's really the key piece of Meetup Group, and that's the part that I like the most, is that it is a live meetup, in-person, live networking event. So, for instance, if we were to talk about, let's talk about our friend Libby Gill, right? Or Christine Comfort. But let's talk about Libby. Libby's got an amazing dynamic personality. She's got great stuff to teach. So I'm hoping that one of the things she goes into is running a live meetup group. So we can promote it for her the way we promote everything else. And then let's say in LA, where branding is a really big deal and very important, Libby Gill can have Libby Gill's branding meetup. So it brands back to her. It's pretty obvious what it is. It's not a 00 secret or anything. And she can have, you know, a live event where maybe she charges $100 and has 100 people. That's a pretty good revenue source. And it's a really inexpensive way for people to learn what she has to offer. So I've got a meetup group I run for free. It's just a writer's group. But I've got to start another one because there's so many small businesses that want to learn what I have, and I only take a handful of clients. So this is a really good way to share information. You share it in an inexpensive way that supports people. You give them the best that you've got, 2 hours, you know, water, wine, and hors d'oeuvres. If you want to do that in the basement of a church that costs you $50. So I really like Meetup a lot. And then you can actually also promote your non-live events. So when I do social media stuff online, I promote it to my meetup group so that they can all find and follow my work. Not that I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, but you know, some of them do follow my work and I want them to have that opportunity. So, you know, they're live events, then they're online events, virtual events, and they tend to go to all of them once they're in your market share.
So a meetup group, that sounds like something where you would actually physically show up to some place where everybody meets, or can you do this virtually as well, like through some kind of video interface? What have you seen? You can
do that, but Meetup's rules, you know, like all social networks, Meetup has rules, and they do ask you to commit to hold a live event every so often. So, you know, I might do my live events maybe once a month or twice a year and build it the rest of the time through online virtual, like you guys have. You know, a virtual video or audio interface, Skype events. But the reason I like Meetup is it does have that live face-to-face quality. And when you learn from
and that's what I was going to say,
yeah, the best social media people out there, like Nancy Marmolejo and Mari Smith and Allie Brown, they'll all tell you that really this is a relationship-building medium, social networks. And that's really what's supposed to happen. So the live event is an amazing opportunity to build those relationships face-to-face, hand-to-hand, heart-to-heart. And I like that a lot. It's been a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, there's no substitute for
well, you know, I
face-to-face.
can see the importance of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think we're online so much of the time, and even with the video, or we're hearing each other via Skype or on the telephone. There's nothing like giving a good hug, right? I mean, when we met you face to face, and Libby and Margaret and even Linda that we've met and you know we're continuing to be friends with and connecting with. There's nothing like seeing each other and giving a big hug and just that. I don't know. There's just something about it that just is amazing, and it just solidifies in my mind the relationship further as you go along. Because now we're doing the video thing, and I feel like I could just reach out and hug you right now. So it's just cool. I love it.
Well, it's just another opportunity to connect with people. You know, this is a great opportunity. I mean, that's why we all felt like we lost a princess when a princess died. Like she was our friend because we knew her from video and audio, and we got to know her that way. But then when I met you guys in person, it was like siblings. Yay! You know, I felt like we knew each other. But there's nothing like sitting down over a cup of coffee to talk about everything, you know, to share our expertise and to hear all the great things you and Brian have going on right now.
You know, I really like her idea of, you know, the wine thing. So I think from now on our shows, we should all have a glass of red going here.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, why not? It's
you
social
know what we
hour.
Can do?
Okay.
Maybe once a month we'll have drunk Tuesdays. I don't know.
All right, I'll have Tommy bring out a bottle of wine right away.
So the question of the vino-free Tuesday night here, how do we get started doing something like this? How do we get it all together?
meetup groups, like every other social network, is pretty easy to use. You know, if the ones that are too complicated don't last that long. You know, I love Fast Pitch. Fast Pitch is great, but boy, it's not an easy one to use. There's so many opportunities that you just can't get it going. Sorry, Fast Pitch guys, but I do love it. It's definitely worth trying if you've got the time to learn it all. Meetup group, you just go in, you set up your account. Again, use all your keywords. Make sure not only to list your website, but also your social media opportunities, right? I want to put Twitter everywhere I am in case somebody's really hot for Twitter. I'm not personally, but you know, you do have the opportunity there. So, so you've got all of your social media outlets listed on Meetup groups. You've got your website, your email, your telephone number. You want to have all of your contact medium on every single social networking platform that you're on. So do that on Meetup group as well. Then you have to kind of outline what your group is going to be about, and I would suggest using that in the name of your meetup group as well. You know, this isn't 00 secret. Like I said, the writers group is called a writers group. You know, I've learned a few things about branding from Libby Gill, and one of them is you want to talk about what you are, not have people have to, you know, jump through 20 hoops to figure it out. So the writers group is a writers group. Social media expertise is called social media know-how. You know, I've got some groups out there that are really clear to find. Then you'll pick, because it's a live networking opportunity, you'll pick the region you live in, and you'll promote it. It'll literally say, should we promote this? And you say yes. And it'll use the keywords that those 5 or 6 keywords, just like on YouTube, and it'll choose everybody out there that listed those keywords and what they were interested in. So anybody who put writing, writers, whatever, in their profile in my area got a notice about my writers group. Now that is an opportunity that I want to have every other week. So I want to start groups all the time just so people can find me and learn what I'm about. You know, I don't cheese their platform. I actually do it the way they say to do it. But hey, you know, that's not a bad way to get known to 20,000 people who put writer in their profile and within 30 miles of my house.
Exactly. What is the actual URL or web address for your favorite meetup group website?
I think Meetup is literally meetup.com.
Okay. Sorry to put you on the spot there.
Meetup.com, and you can actually go in and search the type of group that you're interested in. So you can search writers groups within 20 miles of your house, or, you know, foodies. You can search the word foodies, and you'll find people that want to go around to different restaurants and then talk about how great the food is. That's really hot right now. People are really into food.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, you can find crocheting groups, you can find reading groups. There's a Harry Potter group that my kid is desperate to join. You know, chess groups. I mean, there's literally, if it isn't out there and you want it, by all means start one. You won't be alone for too long.
Yeah, and just to reiterate the power of this, I truly don't know, I know more now, but I did not know that much about meetup groups before this. I joined one as a follower of another, just out of curiosity for another prominent speaker that both Kathy and I know. And what happened as a result is I get periodic emails from that service that tell me not only if this individual has a meetup group, but also, I don't know, it's 30 or 40 other ones that are also within my geographic region that I could potentially reach. So if the individual I wanted to follow actually wasn't having a meetup group in that period, I could find actually someone else who might have something in my interest level, and I may join them. So if you do start up your own meetup group, think of that power where emails are going out, and you've done nothing but join the group, correct, Mary Agnes? I mean, you're not sending these emails out to these people. It's going through the service.
There's a lot of different ways to do it. If you're just going to join groups, then absolutely, you've joined a group, you've put up your profile, and people will find you also, not just the group that you've started. So I could just put up a profile about Mary Agnes and talk about what I do, and it's still an opportunity for people to find me through Google. It's another SEO opportunity.
Oh, okay.
As the host of a group, I actually paid, I think it's $20 a month to host a group on Meetup and to get my group promoted, and that's well worth the promotion fee. It's really small.
Oh yeah, I mean, just to see what I got in by way of email. I mean, you pay a lot of money and time and effort to accrue a list, an email list. This is 100%
Yeah.
automated. If you're the meetup group creator like you are, Mary Agnes, then emails are going out because other people
That's
join your
right.
group, and they're seeing not only
That's
yours but
right.
others. So others are seeing yours as well because you're mixed with.
Absolutely.
It's viral actually.
It's
So
very viral. Yeah.
just that one little
Very
piece of it,
viral.
I thought, wow, I'm a tech geek, and I'm thinking this sounds pretty cool. I need to look more into this.
Yep.
But now we're getting it straight from the expert herself. So.
And right at the top of my group, I put a note that says, learn more about my meetup. Click here. And then I send them over to my blog with a a little web video done. And next to my blog, it's got, how to sign up for my newsletter. So I want to get them, this is a way to run SEO.
Excellent.
So if I, the very first thing on my description, say, go here to learn more, then there's a little video, then there's an opportunity for them to sign up with me outside of Meetup. So it's a pretty good way to generate traffic as well.
No kidding.
Now, do you promote this through Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter? So
yeah,
you
Meetup's
cross-promote in all those directions as well?
Every time I have a meeting, we meet once a week, my writers group, and I can push a button that says share this on Facebook, and it'll put it out to my Facebook profile. As long as you're running a public group, that's an amazing thing to do. If you get a private group, maybe you don't want to do that because you're going to entice people over and then tell them, no, we don't want you.
Right.
Yeah. So, right, like, we don't want you. So, as long as your group is public and open to your, your region, your area, your friends, fans, and followers, and people can join who aren't in my area either. I've got a member who lives in California just because she wants to follow the work and offer commentary. And then she liked the group so much she flew in just to come to a meeting, which is kind of amazing to me. So,
goodness.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as everyone can see, Mary Agnes is just an absolute, I can't think of the right, treasure trove of information here because we're only scratching the surface. Kathy and I know her abilities beyond what she's talking about right here. They are wide and far, and it includes the traditional as well, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
If it's social media, she knows it. LinkedIn, she's plugged in. So be sure to click on her nose right up here, or on her banner beneath us. Definitely click, get more information, get connected with Mary Agnes. Follow her on Facebook, get connected with her, shout out, say hey. Look at the people she follows. That's one way to find out about an individual. Like on Facebook, she's involved in following Libby Gill, Christine Comerford, the others that I'm horrible at names. Margaret is on there. The people
Paul
that are watching
Keach.
right now.
Margaret.
Paul Keach. It goes on and on and on.
Paul Keach.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's an incredible network. If you are in Mary Agnes's network, you are in a powerful network. So do get to know her and be respectful when you do so. Don't do it just to give me, gimme. Go in there, offer her something of your services. Everyone has talent. Let's be respectful, but get connected with Mary Agnes. Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Bri.
Oh, you bet. I said you are the bomb, and I mean it.
Kathy mentioned Paul Keach. Paul is my own marketing guru because, like, social media is great, but then what do you do after you've made all these connections on your list? And Paul Keach just put out a book called Make My Marketing Work, and it's all about measured marketing opportunities. So that's a good guy to follow. Somebody's looking for someone to follow.
Yeah, that is an amazing book.
Yeah, it's
in
a
fact,
good book.
I think he just, I saw a picture with him with it recently, and I believe he's going to debut it for real in August or something. I think in August.
He's got pre-release copies,
yes.
And I really like him so much that the minute it went up, I clicked to buy one, and I have the #1 printed copy of that book that he signed for me. You
do?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Is he signed? Oh.
Yep.
Well, you know what? That's going to be. I'm an eBay expert, so. In about 50 years, come to me, my dear, and we can sell it for millions because it's the first edition.
Yeah, because Paul's such a good guy.
He's going to be famous.
Yeah.
He's just going to be he's going to be totally famous. You bet.
Yeah, well, the way Paul's going, it would be more like 5 years than 50 because he's on the fast track. He's a marketing.
Yes, he is.
Absolutely.
Well, we should say that we all met him live.
Yes.
Also, Kathy and Brian.
Yes,
coached.
we did.
I'll give you a plug. Kathy and Brian coached at this amazing event that Christine Comerford had in San Francisco. And Kathy and Brian coached, Libby coached, Paul Keach coached, Margaret Jacoby coached there. Debbie Cannon, the Biz Mom mentor.
Susie
We had this
Manning.
amazing group of coaches. I'm going to forget a couple. They're going to hate me, but Kathy and Brian just rocked the house. Brian ran around with this little camera, filming everything that he possibly could. He was like on his knees filming. Brian, they were both just amazing. So if anybody out there has an event where they need coaches to work the audience, I would hire Brian and Kathy like at the speed of light. They were my favorites in the crowd.
Well, thank you so much. You're going to make us blush.
We had a blast.
It was a blast. It was a lot of fun.
It was.
And you know what? And I actually sent Dory an email, and I said, if you have anything coming up soon, I think I lost 5 or 6 pounds that weekend. So I said, I need to lose 15 pounds. So I said, if you could do 3 in a row for me, I said, I'm all for it. Yeah. You know, great weight loss program.
You know, who Kathy's talking about is our woman, our own Jane Bond, Dory Etter, E-T-T-E-R, and you won't be able to Google her. She doesn't have much of a presence online, but she's probably one of the best event. I never saw anybody plan an event like she did. She did a great job.
Oh, the level of detail blew me away, and I'm very analytical as a software engineer with that background. You know, to watch everything in action in between each session, etc. It was great. It was very, very impressive.
She really did.
Very impressive. Very professionally done.
And Christine going like she did from morning till the evening every day, and with the content that she provided was just amazing. Amazing stuff.
So all that to say,
anyway,
thank you, Mary Agnes, for connecting us with that incredible group. And that's what it's about, folks.
Yeah, it was good, right?
Connections. We got to know Mary Agnes through a mutual friend, J.W. Nigerian, and it just went on from there. And we have learned unbelievable amount of stuff from our own show, which is something you can take away when you do your own Blog Talk Radio show, when you do your social media and get to know other people and network with them. We have learned an unbelievable amount. We've learned about contribution leadership from Jabez Labret, which helped us to excel when Mary Agnes got us hooked up with Christine Comerford. So networking is incredibly powerful, and we are talking about 3 phenomenal vehicles to use in social media marketing, which will get you out there, get you networked. She keeps saying, "Don't be a 00 secret." Is that what you said? Don't do. I call it, "Don't be a secret agent man." Same thing. You have to get your face out there. For those of you that are hiding in a hole, thinking, "Well, I don't want anybody to know my name, and if they know my name, they're going to find out where I live. They're going to come rob my house." And you can't think it's not that way. If that's the way you approach life, then in business, it's not going to work this day and age. You have to come out of your shell and can no longer be a secret agent man or woman. You got to come out of that shell and become exposed, but you control how you're exposed by what you put out there. As Mary Agnes so beautifully pointed out, be careful on YouTube what you put on your videos, and also, you know, present yourself present yourself professionally,
they're always there,
and with integrity at all times. Go ahead, Kathy. I know you had something.
Something I'd like to talk about is what do you think, Mary Agnes, are some of the misconceptions with social media?
That's good.
Well, I think the biggest one is that you're going to get on there, you're going to build 1,000 contacts a month, you're going to get your stuff out there, you're going to be a millionaire. Like, that's probably the biggest one. It takes time. You know, actually, you can build 1,000 contacts a month. There's a few little tricks to doing that. But even once you have them, what do you do next, you know? The marketing piece takes over where social media ends, and that's probably the biggest misconception is what happens after you've built relationships on social media. So that's why we're talking about Paul. But the other big misconception that seems to be coming up a lot for me lately is, you know, clients keep trying to hire me who don't have a brand in place. So they want to hire me and think I'm going to like hit it out of the park for them, and that's a great idea, and boy, I'd love to, but you know, if you don't know what your brand is, if you don't have your brand linking your website, your personality, your products, your expertise, you know, if you don't have a brand riding over all of those, you know, you're really missing an opportunity. And it's very, very hard to market somebody whose expertise is one thing, their products are a different thing, and their name is 00 secret. You know, so that's been,
I love that.
You know, that's why I honestly, and you have to look at what you've got to work with. Mary Agnes Antonopoulos cannot be the name of my company. I bet no one out there can get the U where it belongs in Antonopoulos, me included some days. So
I messed with I got it in the wrong place a couple of times, so I made sure I checked every time I put it on.
When I married Tommy, I swear if you stopped me in the middle, I would get it wrong. I had to start at the beginning to get it right. But Christine Comerford, she can do Comerford Consulting, and that sounds pretty sexy, and it's not that hard to spell. Libby Gill,
Right.
I mean, Libby is the branding expert. She's the one I keep sending clients to instead of me, to get their brand in order before they come to social media. But Libby can call herself Libby Gill. It's easy to spell. I'm going to have to change my name to, like, I don't know, Cheeky Cheek Consulting or something. It's a little easier to spell. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you talk about branding because, that's something Kathy and I came to the realization of after years and years of toiling, trying to sell something.
Yeah.
And it was always trying to sell somebody else's something, Like I said earlier, she is incredible at affiliate marketing. That will not change. She can. But she has that talent. Not everybody does. I don't have the talent that she does at that level with affiliate marketing. Not even close. So for those that don't...
Yeah, no, she's the best.
Absolute. And the absolute best that I personally know, that hands down. No one comes close. But for those of us...
Well, thanks, but there are... Okay.
There are others,
Go
but
ahead.
for those of us that don't have that level of talent, or even those of us who have very little of that talent, the way to get started is to brand yourself. And that's literally how Kathy and I came to the realization we need to start a show like this. And it didn't just happen overnight. We didn't just get together, hey, let's do a show and start broadcasting the next day. We went through some iterations, but get started on branding yourself, like Mary Agnes is so absolutely correct in stating, is get not just your face, but your brand. Find a brand. What is your talent? Get that niche. And is that something you also help with, Mary Agnes? If they don't have a brand, is that, or do you send them off to someone like Libby, or how does that work?
I send them to Libby.
Yeah.
Another mistake that we all make online is thinking, I'm sorry, there's like pollen here. Another mistake is that we all think we're going to do all things and get all the money.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I definitely, when it comes to joint ventures and affiliate marketing, I send people over to Kathy. We both do social media, but we've got different expertise. And I'm happy to send them to Kathy and have them get success instead of come to me, and that's not my niche. Same thing with branding. I'm happy to send them to Libby Keach. I married you to Paul, Libby, to Libby Gill, because she's going to get them success where I'm not. So, it's really got to be your authentic brand, who you really are. If somebody wants great strategy on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, they can give me a call. I'm probably the right person to talk to, but I'm not the only person. And, that's an important thing to know, too. Building an army of colleagues, I had something personal happen right before we went on to that summit, and I came back from that summit and I dropped half of my client base, and I turned them on to other expert, wonderful vendors in my field, my own army of friends and colleagues, and I sent them to great people like Kathy and Fiona. Right, we sent them to Fiona Vonchik. I'm not nobody's gonna eat your lunch. There's enough lunch out there. That's a great, yeah.
There is a lot of lunch out there. The other thing that I wanted to interject is the importance of mentors as well.
Yes.
And the thing about it is, it doesn't have to be one; it can be several. Because people, you're talking about expertise. We have mentors that are experts in different fields. And Brian and I recently have been mentored by a very good friend of ours, Linda Jones, and she helped lead us in a totally different direction than what we were thinking. And it actually started out just in conversation, but I think by identifying those people that are around us and what they have to offer and the expertise that they have to share, being open to brainstorming with other folks and sharing back and forth. Like you said, there's lots of lunch to go around.
Yeah.
Those kind of connections are so valuable and very important.
And it's very important to always listen with an open mind, and that can be difficult for many people if you have an ego or if you have a deep, deep, deep passion for your current business and where it stands now. Robert Finkelstein, a past guest of ours just last week, was excellent in picking that apart and saying, if you can't open yourself up to being not really ridiculed, but being corrected and being redirected, then your company will not, it won't die, but it will be stifled to a point where you're not going to grow as fast as you could. Linda gave us she may not think it was very valuable, I don't know, but it was the most valuable bit of advice I think Kathy and I have ever received, and it has made us focus in what we think is the right direction, and it gave us that focus. So mentorship, very, very important, like Kathy said. Mary Agnes, I'm sure you would be a fantastic mentor to anyone in...
Well, she mentored us as well.
Yes. And mentors, they talk about you meet on a weekly basis.
Remember we spent time...
Absolutely. And that's why we say that, because we dealt with her. She's fantastic. She's got limited time, so those of you that want to hook up with her, definitely hook up with her. Be professional, and she's got a lot of services that she can provide. Social media, branding. She can actually, you know what? Anything you need in a business, if she can't do it, she'll find somebody who can. That's how connected she is. So a wealth of not just information herself, but of connections. Very, very, very valuable.
Connections are good.
Yes.
Yeah, connections
absolutely.
are good.
Yeah. Yeah, what I started to say was she mentored us too. After the last time we had her on, when it was kind of fuzzy and funky, and that's why we wanted to get her back on, we spent some very valuable time. This was before we actually met you in person. And there were some things that you shared with Brian and I that we are now utilizing that has made a difference in what we're putting together in our business. So we're very grateful for that.
Oh, I'm so glad. That was a great conversation. I remember that conversation. That was a great conversation.
As a matter of fact, I recall that very well. And what you did, Mary Agnes, is you loaded, at least my mind, with information that really helped us get over the hump when Linda Jones approached us with her idea. If it hadn't been for you, I personally probably would have been a lot more like this. Well, okay, whatever, we know what we're doing, kind of thing. But with your information, what you preloaded our minds with, I mean, for me, it was much easier to say, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it. So,
thanks for that. You. It was a great. It was like 3 cups of coffee and an hour of strategy. It was fun.
I know, and you want to know, but I'm thinking next time we do like the big wine glass with the cheese and cracker kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about.
I like it a lot.
We can raise them and say cheese.
Well, you know what? I've got. Right. Well, this is no plug here, right?
I've got mine.
No plug here. That's our product placement. But anyway, I wanted to look here because a couple of people, and I'm sorry, it's getting late in the evening, and I had to put on my Grammy glasses so I can see, but I want to make sure that I read this. Let's see, we have got Final Stand 25. If you go outside, I will be there with my banana hands. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know if I want to run outside or if I want to lock the door.
I don't know. Well, it's cold up here today and it's raining. I'm not going outside to watch any kind of bananas. So anyway, Linda's saying thanks for the plug. Great group of people. Janet Legier is saying Kathy and Brian are awesome. Well, you guys are awesome leaders. Thank you so much. And Margaret is saying this has been an awesome show. Valuable info and nuggets. Great call. Yes, awesome call. Thank you guys so much. It's because of our guest and friend Mary Agnes that it makes it so special, because she is very giving and wanted to share what she was not able to share the last time she was on. But I got to tell you, it happens every week. Before we know it, the hour is gone.
I know it.
And that's what happens when we have such wonderful people sharing with us. And so what I want to say to the viewers is thank you so much for taking your time to come in and share with both my friend and business partner Brian and our very dear friend Mary Agnes for sharing all the wonderful information she did tonight, all those nuggets that she stuck in. And Mary Agnes, if you would tell them again about the Blog Talk Radio blurb that you're willing to send. It was to your email address is...
MA for Mary Agnes at rockawaywriter.com. And that's my email address. And anybody who writes me, I'm happy to send it over to them. Or you can write Kathy or Brian through the show, I think, right? Can they reach out to you through the show? And
they can,
I'll send it over. Just put a note like, please send Blog Talk Radio's cheat sheet. And that's a really good cheat sheet. That'll get them started. The final cool thing about Blog Talk Radio is that all of your shows become an audio library online. And that's a huge win. Even if you don't get a lot of live participants, my profile has been looked at 2,700 times. It's humbling and frightening. So, those calls have been downloaded probably just about as many times, and that's a cool thing if you have a great voice for radio and some good stuff to put out there. Every single person that you mentioned as typing into our chat room, every single one of them could feature their expertise on Blog Talk Radio. That'd be a great choice for them.
No doubt. A lot of talent in the chat room. It's humbling, and that's what you brought, Mary Agnes. That's because of you. And that's the type of connections that you have, that you bring along with you in everything you do. You just, I can't say enough great things about you, but Kathy, we need to...
Well, I'm embarrassed. Gosh, thanks.
But we are at that time, aren't we, Kathy?
Yes, we are. I can't believe it. Like I said, it happened so quickly. In fact, I know when we just start getting into the groove thing, the time flies. But we're going to be back again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And Mary Agnes, we would love to have you back again and again and again, because you're just adorable and you just provide such wonderful information for everybody.
Oh,
Brian, thank you so much for plugging us all in so that we can be seen by everybody. Thanks to our viewers, and I'm going to turn it over to Brian and Mary Agnes.
Well, I think
good night for me.
I want to thank both of you ladies so very much. Both of you have gone through and are going through a tough time in your lives, and we don't want to get into the personal aspects, but just to see you both here is testimony to your level of integrity and your inner beauty, and I just cannot thank you enough for what you have done tonight, and for everyone on this show. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's been absolute wonderful. It's been a pleasure. Mary Agnes, you're a gem. That's a much nicer word than da bomb, but you know it's still a very good term. But thank you so very much. Thank you everyone who came on in the chat room to visit with us. We appreciate that. We will be on next week, as Kathy said. So until then, we would like to bid everyone so long and see you next week. Alrighty, bye bye now.
Good night.